Welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. And I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make dark matcha bark. Because it's kind of the new year and everybody still wants sweet stuff, but we gotta try to be healthy, right, in the new year. So we're doing sweet with matcha, right? Because matcha is so good for you. Oopsie, oh my gosh. I should not be pouring this over the, oh my gosh. And my dogs are gone today, so just got chocolate on my burner. Oh well, that's okay. We're gonna just throw that in and we'll worry about that later. Okay, so I'm doing 1 cup of dark chocolate chips, which you could do like semi or milk or whatever. I just really like dark chocolate, so that's what I'm making because I'm the cook. And then I'm doing a tablespoon, we'll call that a tablespoon of coconut oil. And you could probably skip this, if for some reason you don't like coconut oil or you think it makes it taste too, oh actually I'm just gonna put this right on my skin, too coconutty, you could skip it, but it makes it a little bit easier to spread. So while okay, this is hot plate's a little bit wacky too. I need this to melt and I don't have a microwave, so I gotta do it the old-fashioned way on the stove top. But I don't ever do a double boiler with this because it just doesn't seem like it's that important, I guess. It just doesn't burn or it works just fine. So while that's melting, I'm gonna do some wax paper, which you could do parchment, and you could probably do nothing. You could do it on a flexible cutting board. I think that would probably work just fine. Oh, look at me. I brought my scissors because I was gonna cut it down to make it fit so beautifully. So that means I can't make it any bigger. Okay, that should be fine. But I don't have to. It fits in there. So this is what, a 10 by 13, 8 by 13 pan? I don't even know. But it makes this much, whatever it is. So I think it's a 8 by 13, we'll say. I don't know. Do they make a pan that size? I'm not sure. So all I'm waiting for is my chocolate to melt because it has to be perfectly smooth. And in the meantime, I'm going to get my matcha ingredients going, which is 1/3 cup of white chips. So you don't need as much because this is a 1 cup now, only 1/3 cup. And I better seal this up before I have it fall on the floor. And in here, you're going to add just 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, not the tablespoon, because you just don't need as much because you don't have as much of the chips. Imagine that, it all works out. Okay, and I could be chopping too, but this looks like it's almost ready. Oh, and I probably need a hot pad. Okay, so if you had a microwave, you could just put this in a bowl and stick it in the microwave, and I have no idea. It would take a minute maybe, 45 seconds, I'm not sure. But I still have a little bit of chips that I see. So you just want it melted and then you want to stir it until it's all nice and smooth. And then we're going to spread it out here and then we're going to melt that and spread it on there and mix it up. It's super fast and super easy. And you don't really taste the matcha in my opinion. I almost feel like you could do almost reverse it and have the white be green with the matcha and then have a little bit of dark so that you get more matcha, although maybe you wouldn't add more matcha powder. I don't know, I suppose you could. Who knows? We'll worry about that another day. Today we're making dark with the matcha on top. So you need a lot of these rubber spatulas for this dish because you just don't want to really lose any of your good chocolate. Okay, so I'm going to hang on to this because it's not too crazy hot. And then, oh, that was a little bit hot. I'm going to dump this. Hopefully it will spread beautifully. Not all over my pan. I don't know, I've never had this, like a problem with it. So you basically, you put it on your pan, and then I just try to make like a rectangle. Or whatever, if you had a square pan, you would just make it square, it doesn't really matter. And you want it 1/4 of an inch thick, which like, how do you know that, right? I mean, like it's on this thing, you're gonna get out a measuring, like, how do you measure that? So what I do for this amount is basically figure that I need to make it like a 8 by 10 kind of thing. 8 by 10 size is what I mean. Okay, hang on, I'm doing too many things. Okay, I gotta get this going. I don't want this to burn. Okay, that's just perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a minute and just spread this out so that I feel like it's nice and even. It doesn't really matter because I'm gonna break it up anyway, but sometimes you just gotta do stuff because it feels like it's the right step. So that's what this is. Okay, so step number 1 is done. We just let that sit. I'm gonna get chocolate all over, but that's okay. Okay, then while this is melting, it's almost ready. And I think I do need a little hot pad because this is where I'm gonna add my matcha. So let me get this, and then I'm gonna cut up some craisins. You wouldn't have to cut these up, but I don't know, I feel like these are a little bit big, and not that it really matters, but that's my personal preference. So there you go. If you don't want them, if you don't mind them being big, don't bother chopping them. But I am just gonna, I only have a little bit, like I don't really want a whole bunch of toppings. You don't even have to put any toppings on your bark. You can leave it just the chocolates, and then of course it's like super smooth and very nice, really. But I don't know, I guess it's winter time, and so I just like the red with the white. Well, it's going to be green. White with the green, which I mean, it's a little Christmassy, but that's what I like. I'm going to do it. And I like the itty bitty chunks. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is definitely getting warm. And I'm not going to add the matcha until it's all smooth. And it's almost ready. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good enough. Now this is my matcha tea, or matcha powder. It's not tea. I make tea out of it. Okay, and I use Tenzo, whatever. There's, I'm sure, a million brands. They all have their reasons for why you should buy their brand. But the main thing is to get your lid to fit, okay? Then the main thing is to stir this in until it's all very nicely combined. And you definitely want to take your time on this part because this powder is like super duper fine in general. And so you want it to be all mixed in because you don't want any darker streaks. You want it to be completely uniform, like 100% the same color. And I see itty bitty white chocolate chunks, which meant I might have taken it off a little too soon, but this is a metal pan, so it's still a little bit hot. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little spatula. Oh, and I have all this powder on here. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going to have to blend that in. Okay, so let's just taste this. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, test at your own risk because that was a little bit hot, but I didn't burn my tongue. So that's the good news. Okay, forgot that we had like just heated this stuff up. Even though I can feel it on my hand, it's like very hot. Okay, that's it. Now we're done. Now we are going to, like this is a little bit runny, so I'm going to actually be able to drizzle it. Last time I made it, it was like gloppy, and I don't know if I got just a little bit of steam in it. And I have to pour this way. Sorry, I can't really show you on the camera, but I'm going to just do little rows like this. But what I was saying was last time it was really gloppy and it did not pour like this at all. It was very gloppy. So I just used a spoon and like put little dollops all along it, around it. And that was just fine. So I'm just trying to make my thinner green things here a little bit thicker. Okay, so we're almost done. All right, so now I take a butter knife because I like kind of the thicker power of this versus like a toothpick. And then you just hope for the best, man. You just start swirling like this. And you try to stay in your little rectangle. And you can do whatever kind of pattern you want. And you can swirl as much as you want. So, I don't like this blob here, okay? So I'm going to try to do a swirly like this along my edge. Because I don't like those thick, although they do look pretty nice there. But now I'm getting like these wavy actions, which I think is kind of cool. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it done. Now you could go this way, but I really like having like bold stripes in mine, and so I'm just going to be done. If you did a toothpick, you would probably get that much finer mixing. And but I like these like little blobs sticking out here, and I like the little feather things. I think that looks really cool. So I'm really happy. Like, yay, it worked out. Because you just never kind of know when you are doing this, and you get like one chance. That's it. Okay, so now I have one chance to put my toppings on in the right way, and this looks so gorgeous. Like, I'm really tempted to just leave it because it's so pretty, but I might not even use all of this, because this is, my recipe says like a tablespoon of toppings, which I suppose that's a tablespoon, but it feels like a lot. So I'm going to very carefully, that feels like a big blob, sprinkle these kind of all over. And again, this is as much or as little as you want. I'm doing kind of a lot along the edges where there's more chocolate. Okay. And then I guess I'm just going to kind of maybe do all of it. Okay, we're just going to leave that. Okay, then I have coconut. I have unsweetened coconut. We're going to do this. And put it right back in there. Don't tell anybody. Then I'm going to pop it in my freezer for 10 minutes and we'll be back to check it out later. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and it's actually been about 20 minutes, so maybe this was a little bit thicker than a 1/4 inch. It took a while to freeze, but now it's basically like one big solid chunk. So I've never cut mine. I always just break it, but basically you can just peel this wax paper right off, okay? And then you just start breaking it. Oh, it's not like rock hard. Usually it like snaps. So you just break it into pieces, whatever size you want. I usually do, well, no bigger than that, because you kind of want it to be something that doesn't melt too fast, because once you hang on to it and you're like holding it like this to eat, it's kind of surprising how fast it will melt and get all over your fingers and stuff. So, so you just break it, like that. And then, I mean, you could do itty bitty little pieces. You could almost do like bite size if you wanted, but I just think it's really cute. So this is with the toppings, you know, so if you didn't do any topping, then it would just be like smooth and gorgeous. And you can mix it up with doing just green matcha chocolate without the dark chocolate. And if you don't want dark chocolate, just use milk chocolate and just call it chocolate matcha bark or whatever. I just call it dark because I used dark chocolate chips. So let's take a little bite. So I like the coconut because it makes it a little bit chewy. I don't think you can taste the matcha at all. So if somebody's like, oh, I don't like matcha, I'm like, don't worry, you're not going to taste it in this amount. If it was like all green matcha, then you might. But that's it. I don't know, I just think it's really fun. And if you wanted to be very precise and cut them up so they're all perfect, you sure could. But that's it. That's your dark matcha bark. So thank you very much for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you make some bark and people think it's just cool and gorgeous. You do have to store it in the fridge if I didn't say that. But I appreciate your time watching the show. I'll see you next time. Bye.